Last but not least, we have Emma Gibson. Emma blew in from the Cotswolds 29 years ago, and so hopes she can now call Belfast home without offending anyone. She's getting used to having grown-up children and a little more time on her hands to sing in a choir, bake, write, teach crochet and dream about Harry Styles. That takes up a lot of time, so I can understand. So tonight, Emma is reading Mermaid.
Thank you. I know I'm short.
I'm virtually tongue.
I'd just like to say thank you for a lovely evening to everyone who was involved and to the other readers as well. It's been really, really terrific. So I'm going to read Mermaid. It's your birthday next week. Let's do something special. I'd like to go swimming, she said. Yes, let's, I squealed, with all the enthusiasm of a pig preparing for slaughter. This would mean going somewhere I hadn't been for a very long time, the bottom drawer. It had been out of reach for quite some time, a fact which I blamed entirely on the menopause and the resulting brie-ripe spare tyres accumulating both under and now over my long-forgotten waistland. I can't wait, I lied, whilst picturing the many discarded swimming costumes in ever-increasing sizes languishing in the depths of the wardrobe. The following Friday afternoon, I perched on the seat on a purple floodlit bus next to a writhing 7-year-old, I thought she might have worms. 2 tickets to the swimmers were proudly displayed on the screen of her iPhone 11. I felt technologically adrift. The changing room was a feast for the nostrils, to which my young companion was oblivious. Whilst she stripped with the speed and grace of a spawning salmon, I savoured the aroma of damp flesh, matted hair, and something much worse. She jiggled whilst I strapped myself into my own ruched and reinforced contraption. I instantly regretted shaving only the spikes from my knees downwards the night before. It had been quite a while since I'd seen the parts now on display. When did they become that colour? That long, so sparse. But I couldn't let her down. These were the trips that memories were made of, things we would reminisce about in years to come. Do you remember the time we had so much fun? But I couldn't do it. I chickened out. I think I'll just watch from the side, I muttered, slipping back into the comfort of my elasticated trousers and oversized tunic. I convinced myself that she wouldn't mind as long as I watched her every manoeuvre and beamed with pride at the appropriate moments. Look at me, she laughed. Be careful, I called back as she dived into suspicious yellowing foam. I stood on the sideline, distracted for a moment by the bobbing journey of a corn plaster. A pink-tinged sticking plaster and an opaque verruca sock waited patiently for it at the grating of the water treatment outlet. I'd painted my toenails especially, even the 2 you couldn't normally see hidden under the straps of my supermarket sandals. At least they were getting a public outing. Something in the water looked inviting. Perhaps it was the shimmer from a clip-on plastic earring lurking in the depths. Perhaps the cute splashing of a baby bobbing in a pre-explosive nappy. Whatever it was, I went in. And there I was again, that 17-year-old with sun-kissed skin, no stragglers or bumps where they shouldn't have been, no need to come up for a gasp of air. I slipped through the liquid, bright bubbles of mercury pearls in my hair. The sun broke the surface and dappled my palms as I effortlessly turned with a scoop of my arms, and I shimmered and sparkled with power and grace as the air softly passed from the grin on my face. I was a mermaid, a creature of the deep, a mystical being with secrets to keep, and only to share with those that I chose. I had power. I had control. My tail was no longer attached to a bloater. I was a mermaid. The bus journey home was a mortifying 27 minutes of shame. I hung onto the rail, unable to sit, yet too slippery to stand with any conviction. A pool of water formed around my sodden, unfastened sandals. It's okay, Nanny. She looked up at me with watery eyes. It's not your fault your swimming costume didn't fit. It must have shrunken in the wash. I managed a weak smile. And the rules didn't say that you couldn't swim in your normal clothes. I read them twice when the man in red shorts was pulling you out. He only shouted because he thought you were drowning, she said, wide-eyed and caring. I shifted my weight from one leg to the other, relieving the chafing of wet fabric between my thighs. 2 boys behind us giggled. I felt clammy. Happy birthday, love, was all I could manage. Thank you, Nanny, she smiled, and her soft wrinkled hand took mine and squeezed, ever so gently.